Didn't think I was going to be able to make it to the party.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you will remain standing for our invocation, please. Heavenly Father, thank you for calling us here together again. We give you thanks for the many blessings you bestow upon us each and every day. We're grateful for the men and women who serve to make Lehigh Acres a better place, our firefighters, our EMTs, paramedics, police, and the many community leaders we have. As we gather here to conduct the business of our Fire and Rescue Department tonight, we ask for your guidance and wisdom in all of our thoughts and decisions. Lord, I'd like to ask a special prayer for the youth of our community, for the family of Stephen Sauter and all of the other boys and girls that will soon be going back to school. Help us, Lord, to be your servant leaders. Amen. Amen.
Welcome to the Lehigh Acres Fire Control and Rescue District Board of Fire Commissioners Fire Commission meeting this evening. Today is July 26, 2016, and at this time, if I could ask you please to silence your cell phones.
You need a microphone. Some of us can't hear nothing.
Okay, this is the only time I'll be speaking. It's just the invocation. Just bear with me a second. If you wish to speak on any of the topics this evening, please come up and we'll get you the proper paperwork filled out. This evening in attendance, we have Commissioner Cruz, Commissioner Becker, Commissioner Adams, Commissioner Smith, Commissioner Carter has an excused absence this evening. We have Chief Rob, our Battalion Chief Rob DeLallo. We have Larry Titz, our Finance Manager, and our Attorney Pringle is our attorney. And this evening we have Martin McDowell from our EMS Division Chief. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonas. All right, next we have up on our agenda the adoption of the agenda. And I'd like to ask commissioners tonight to look at two specific things that are on our agenda. With board approval, I would like to propose that we allow for public comment specific to the fire assessment fee, the rate resolution, just prior to that agenda item. What that would look like is that we will have regular public comments on agenda items.
I suggest if you cannot speak into a microphone where all of us old people can hear, then you need to adjourn this meeting.
Sir, I will try to do better.
I don't hear. We don't hear a thing
All right,
back.
well, my microphone is on and I'll put it right up to my mouth.
Yeah,
All right, so commissioners,
speakers, they never use the speakers.
That won't help. They don't have the microphone system.
Well, sometimes we do with what we can do. All right, so I would like to propose that we have a public comment section specific to the rate fee proposal right before we have that on our agenda. That would look like we would have public comments on any other agenda items as listed on our agenda. And then we would go through the department reports, the commissioners' reports, and then have public comment going into the fire assessment fee and our initial rate resolution.
Are you talking about putting that right behind commissioners' reports?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Right afterwards. All right. Thoughts, commissioners? Are we in agreement? Are we in agreement? All right, I would like a motion that we go ahead and make that modification to our agenda.
I so move.
I'll second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second that we are going to move specific public comments on the rate resolution just prior to that coming up on our agenda. The other item that I would like to perhaps recommend that we postpone given our agenda tonight would be that on page 2. It is the first one under new business, but it is a little bit of old business. I would like to recommend that we postpone our chief selection item for tonight and set a date and time for a special meeting to discuss this specific agenda item solely. And I have good reason.
I'd rather leave it on the first one.
Yeah, let's leave it on the regular schedule and not do a special meeting, okay? We're doing fine.
Okay, well, I can leave it on here right at this point in time. We'll see how the time goes on, and then if need be, we will tackle that item at that time. All right, so with that being said, I am moving on to adoption of our agenda with modifications. Do I have a motion?
No, I made the motion.
Okay, all right, so
The motion.
The motion was-
The motion was to modify the agenda, so a motion to adopt the agenda as modified would be appropriate.
I so move.
all right, thank you. We have a motion on the floor.
I'll second it.
Thank you, seconded by Commissioner Adams. So all in favor of adopting the agenda with modifications? Aye.
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 Aye as well, thank you. Next, we have our consent agenda. We have approval of minutes and the treasurer's report.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda. I second that motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda, which contains the approval of minutes and the treasurer's report. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye as well. Motion carries 4-0. All right, next we have public comments on agenda items other than our fire assessment fee, the initial rate resolution. All right, thank you. All right, so we have no additional public comments, so we're going to move on to department reports, please.
Trataré de ser breve, claro, pero primero quiero felicitar al cuerpo de bomberos de este país y en especial a los del INAI. Veo la labor que ellos realizan en su trabajo y de verdad que son dignos de admiración. Yo pertenezco a Prevista de Anjón y desde que se conoció la noticia, esta por la que estamos tratando hoy, ha sido motivo de gran preocupación por parte de todos los vecinos. Quiero señalar, aunque todos ustedes saben, que la vida se ha encarecido un poco y nosotros pues somos vecinos de bajos recursos y venimos aquí, yo, bueno, en particular, para ver cómo reconsideran la situación económica de todos los vecinos. Espero que tengan compasión nuestra y pues vamos a ver qué se hace. Confío en todos ustedes. ¿Ok? Eso es todo.
Thank you. Next we have James Wilson, please. James Wilson.
James Wilson, I am president of the Presbyterian Homes and Housing Foundation of Florida. I'm also a resident of Lee County for 30 years, so I understand, I have read in the paper about some of your concerns. We have been incorporated in Florida for the past 30 years. We have broken ground in this place in 1959 for our first place. We have added 3 more facilities here in Lee County because of the need out here for people looking for affordable housing to our seniors. The special assessment that has been approved to include all these senior people comes under Florida Statutes, Chapter 140.201, Item 2. I would like to read a part of that. A governmental, financed, insured, or subsidized housing facility is that primarily for people who are elderly, or disabled shall be exempt from any special assessment levied by the municipality to fund any service if the municipality so desires. All of our facilities have mortgages that are guaranteed by the United States Department of Urban and Housing Development. That includes our annual budget, which must be approved by HUD, the criteria of entrance for each person, and the type of management that we must have. Our foundation has 19 facilities from here in Lee County to Polk County. In that area, there are 8 cities that have special assessments for various reasons, and you are the only ones who have not exempted us. The Presbyterian Church does not provide us with any funding. They appoint only 2/3 of the members of our board, and the rest must be from outside this church. We accept everyone, regardless of race, creed, color, religion, sex, national origin, and disability. They have to provide less than $34,000 assets, not income, $34,000 of assets in order to be able to command. I'm quite aware of the new fire equipment that's necessary in Lee Acres. It's been in the newspapers for the past several years, which I do read. However, asking those who do not have the financial ability to help fund this needs to be revisited and add the exemption to their facility. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, sir. Next we have Skip Graves. Skip Graves. Skip, yes.
This is gonna get good.
What did the lady say, the first lady say, because we're not Spanish?
Excuse me, ladies.
I'm sorry, I'm not either. We do not have a Skip Graves. He's
Coming.
Okay,
That's what I'm trying to get Graves.
thank you, sir.
Right here. My name is Harold Graves. I'm a resident of Presbyterian Homes, and I want to thank the fire department, the police department, and all those people that try to give us help when we need it. My first question is, under what authority do you decide you can tax us when we are a tax-free entity? It is unconstitutional. It has no bearing here on us whatsoever. I can afford the extra money, but there's a whole lot of people out here that can't. What are you going to do about it? What's going to happen? I can't believe this is happening. You have no right to even have this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Next we have Jacqueline Hamilton. Jacqueline Hamilton.
Good evening, I'm Jacqueline Hamilton. I'm also a resident of Presbyterian Homes. I don't have an argument with the Lehigh organization who also came to my house and saved my life and my husband's life when he was alive. What bothers me is the fact totally that it appears this tax is being set off on us illegally.
If
We
they can
did
get to
not
it.
make the tax. We were not asked about would we pay for a tax. I asked one of the people at the previous meeting, how would this tax be paid if this bill was passed? She said it would be attached to our rent. I think that's terribly wrong. Like the previous gentleman, yes, I could afford it. I'm already paying $426 for rent in an apartment that is not worth it. If we got the services, it might not be so bad. But we have so many people out there that cannot afford to eat. And to put another $25 tax on them is ridiculous. Where was the bookkeeper who allowed this to get where it is right now? we should have known about this tax before we signed a lease agreement with Presbyterian Home. And then when I read this, it says Presbyterian Homes is a management agency and the communities are owned by the corporation themselves. I don't even know who the corporations are. If I did, I would have contacted them before I came here. Something needs to happen in favor of the residents. We've worked, we've done our time, now it's time for you to stand up and support us. Thank you.
Next I have a Sharon Makowski. Sharon Makowski.
Yes, my name is Sharon Makowski, and I'm a resident of Presbyterian Homes. I'm also a registered voter. And I do want to thank the fire department for all the fine service that they do. They do make many calls to our area, and I think save a lot of lives, and we're all in appreciation of that. This assessment fee, for me personally, I make like I'm in retirement, and I make maybe $1,000 over the poverty level guideline. At the end of the month, when I just pay my living expenses, I might have $20 left. If I'm lucky, maybe a little bit more. But to add $25 for every month would be very much a hardship. And because of my income, you know, even food assistance through the state has been cut back to $32. That's very difficult to do anything with $32. I did have a comment about the website that was set up for the information for the citizens from the fire department or the board. It does state there about being qualified, or I think the word is a valid listing for a nonprofit. The IRS database says that Presbyterian Homes and 4 entities under that umbrella is one of 92 that are listed as nonprofits by IRS. And we're supposed to be officially, we're a valid nonprofit. And the website does state that if that's the case, if it's, I think valid is the word that's used, that the exemption would be applied. I think the concerns of everybody is that this, the taxation for the fire tax usually is paid by home or property owners. We do not own property there, and we're some of us in special programs. And therefore now that the word has been changed to assessment, seems to allow the charges to go to the Presbyterian Homes Management Company. It just doesn't make sense. So I think all of us are here to ask you to reconsider and grant or rescind that decision on the assessment fee and keep it as it was with the taxation of the fire fee.
Next we have Irene, I believe it's Harvey. Irene.
My name is Irene Harvey. I've lived in Presbyterian Homes for nearly 10 years. I have Medicaid and Medicare, so they would pay for it if I did need your services, which I haven't so far. I do appreciate that you need money, but I figured out all of my bills with the $25 assessment, and I would end up with $26 at the end of the month for food. I get $24 a month in food stamps. I am a registered voter, and I am not living in Presbyterian Homes so that I can save up for a 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath house. I'm living in Presbyterian Homes because the next step for me is homelessness. And I know there are other communities like us that are tax exempt. I don't understand why we are being picked out of all of those other communities, and I believe the VFW and churches and other places that are tax exempt when we have always been
Good afternoon. My name is Rafael Chal. I'm the administrator of Presbyterian Homes. I would like to give you some letters on behalf of my residents. And I would like to say one thing. There seems to be a misconception amongst the board that my residents pay $10, $20 a month for rent. That is very far away from the truth. Most of my residents are actually below the very low income limit. Their income per year is probably less than $20,000. Like all the rest of the people have mentioned, once you take rent, food, transportation, all those expenses, they don't have money at the end of the month to pay for the assessment fee. We appreciate the work that the fire department does, and we honor your services to the community, but unfortunately, we don't have the money to pay that. So we ask you that you please reconsider and give us back the exemption. Thank you.
The Presbyterian Homes, and I just don't know. You put this money on us and we're at the bottom of the barrel now. If I have to go out to dinner, I call one of my kids, take me out to dinner because I got her sandwiches because that's all I can afford. I'm at the bottom of the barrel on the
Oh, it's gonna be a lynching tonight.
I don't own a car, I own my bed, and that's all it is, and my kids take me. I can't afford to do this, and if it happens that I have no choice, I will have to go somewhere where I can live. I mean, I can't starve to death in the house. That's against the law. Somebody would come in and pick me up. Then you'd call the EMS and they'd come and take me to the hospital, which would be another bill. Every time that the ambulances or the fire comes to Presbyterian Homes for one of us adults, Medicare and Medicaid picks it up.
Yes.
If I've done it twice, I know. But they can't buy my food. They can't buy my medicine. What else do you do? Right. I just beg you to think. We don't own this property. We don't have the money to buy property. And I think it's just unfair that it's on us to fight, not to go hungry or be without a house because we can't pay a rent. Thank you.
I'm usually kind of short, and I'm leaning over for those microphones. I'm here on behalf of the residents of Presbyterian Homes of Lehigh. I want to tell everybody when the issue first came up about converting from a property tax levy for fire control and rescue into an assessment, we contacted this office. We were reassured that if we were property tax exempt, we were going to be fire fee exempt as well. So we sat back and waited for it to happen. The voters voted 51% in order to convert it from the property tax levy into a fire assessment fee. Even though Get the Facts Lehigh said if you're tax exempt, if you had a valid exemption, you would not have to pay the fire assessment fee. Well, we know that Fort Myers, Lee County, the state of Florida, the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, the United States Department of Agriculture through Rural Development that sponsors our housing, as well as the United States Department of the Treasury and the Internal Revenue Service believes that our exemptions are valid. So I ask you, why did you decide to revoke an exemption to your poorest and your oldest group in Lehigh Acres?
Hi, my name is Jesus Suarez. I live in Presbyterian Homes. Thank you for your service. But this tax, they're hitting us with the $25. Some people cannot pay it. We already know about it. A lot of older people. Some people can't even afford the medicine that they're taking for the heart condition, because the medicine dropped up so high. Us remember that every time they take us to the hospital, they get hit with the bill with, Medicaid pays the bill for y'all. Other thing is, and they pass it, and we get hit, just remember, we all voters, we will vote to take some people out. That's the way we could do it. Thank you.
Presbyterian home 16 years.
Me too.
I am 78 years old. I don't get very much money a month for Social Security to pay everything that has to be paid. And there's other people here that's in a worse boat than I am in. I try to help as many as I can, but I'll tell you, we did not get an increase on our Social Security for 2 years. And that means everything else has went up but that. So I mean, it's really hurting us. And this place is supposed to be tax exempt.
Right.
But if you increase this 25 bucks, there's a lot of people, including me, that's going to have to give up food or medicine. Like I just had a prescription filled yesterday, 30 bucks. That's 30 bucks less I have for food. It's rough, and I know if you're one of your parents didn't have kids, you know, there to help them, would you want your parents to be in the same condition that 95% of us are in? And some are even worse. They get very little. And I know there's got to be other ways that you can get the money besides increasing us. I mean, we appreciate whatever you do, because I've used the ambulance myself about a month ago because I was a victim of an attack on it from a homeless person. And I was in the, they took me to the hospital. I got the bill, $200. My insurance, I don't know how much it paid, but I got the bill for $200. So I'm just asking you, please don't do this to us, because there's too many that's going to be hurt by it. And I'm sure there's other ways and other places that you can get this money. You know, I mean, let me ask you, why does it send the fire truck when you call for an ambulance?
Exactly.
Can anyone answer that one?
That's heavy lift, probably.
It's always a call for an ambulance, but the fire truck comes too. That's a more expense. You know, but I'm telling, please don't do this, because you're gonna hurt a lot of people. And not half of them are here. But I'm only speaking because we can't afford this. I get $1,000 a month, but by the time I pay my bills, I got maybe $100. So that's nothing. Try living on that. You can't. I'm sure you, even when you used to go to a store, you spend more than $100. So anyhow, that's it.
No additional public comments.
You and I. Oh, you eyeballing her too?
I already got a call from the other guy.
I was eyeballing that one. I didn't like it.
Well, at least the chair smiled at me. I don't know what that meant. Like, idiot.
they're lying about why they
No,
don't.
they didn't choose the rate exemption. They made the choice.
I know.
They
I know.
are
And
exempt.
so,
And
no, they chose. What are their answers?
They're saying that, that the county, the property appraiser,
Right. Wrong.
they have to file zoning.
No.
And that if they don't file the zoning on a certain area,
No,
then it doesn't get the
no,
exemptions.
that's not how
That's-
501c works. It's not how it works.
They
Not
chose-
even
they
close.
chose their rules.
I heard that.
Their
on
rules
the-
are wrong.
They told us that they wanted us to be a church organization, which we're not.
You're not.
And they just chose not to exempt.
No.
We're not a church
One-
organization, PFW is exempt because we are a 501c under the statutes of Florida law.
Right.
It's got
LAFD,
nothing
but
to do with
they said
property
they did
zoning.
Because
categories,
of your
only a couple
zoning,
of them.
because of your characteristics, they did not, under 196, some point something,
96.175.
whatever it is.
I'm so tired of
They
repeating it.
chose not to, they chose to exclude you
To the tune of $150,000
dollars a year.
Yeah.
Because they run all
I'm sorry,
these.
it's 154,000, isn't it?
No, it's 145 is change. They got charged with East County.
They didn't answer any questions.
They
That's
won't.
so bad
They
for you.
They
But
won't.
my boss was telling me that they said that they weren't
He's got
going.
The property appraiser, I'm sorry. Madam Chair, may I respond? Yes, sir. The way the resolutions read, the preliminary rate resolution says the same thing as the final proposed resolution will say, is that, I'm quoting, buildings or tax parcels assigned a NAL, real property exemption code of 09 that are